very responsible about the Ukrainian citizens because of the very simple fact they are there to defend Ukraine together with Ukrainian citizens. The Russian troops continue the severe shelling of both military infrastructure but also civilian objects, and civilian objects more and more. Kharkiv and Kyiv have been subjected to shell fire. Many people have lost their homes, especially during the past day and night. As we reported yesterday, the Russian side attacked the Serpent Island in the Black Sea. They seized Chernobyl nuclear power station, and as a part of southern Kherson region, including the North Crimean Channel, the water channel to Crimea. The aggressor also destroyed the dam of Kyiv Reservoir, which threatens thousands of civil deaths in Kyiv, we are monitoring the situation closely, but there could be a risk of massive flood. Russian missiles are now aiming to destroy the logistic infrastructure, bridges in and around Kyiv, water reservoirs, Vyshgorod Dam, which can lead to the accident on Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station. Russia continues to attack also from the sea. And on February 25th, Russian warships deliberately attacked two civil vessels under the third country flags, namely Panama and Moldova, in the Black Sea approaching Ukraine, which actually constitute a flagrant violation of the international law of the sea. Now, I would like to focus more today on the crimes against humanity that all of the correspondents who are, and we would like to thank them, all the brave men and women who are with us in Ukraine, recording and telling the truth to the world about what's going on the ground. But we are absolutely appalled by the Russian crimes against humanity which we see throughout Ukraine. In the last 72 hours, the Russian army attacked kindergartens and orphanages. Right behind me today we have put the images of the horrific scenes of the Russian war in Ukraine and Russian war crimes. Yesterday we reported that Russian Hail multi-rocket launcher system hit residential infrastructure in Ochtyrka town in Sumy Oblast, and several children were heavily wounded. I am saddened to inform you that a 7-year girl who was wounded, she died, unfortunately, as the result of this. The Russian armed forces destroyed 80% of the residential building in Shastya town, in Donetsk Oblast, and our heart goes to the residents of Shastya. The enemy hit an orphanage in Vorzel, and there were 50 people inside, 50 kids inside, and as I informed you yesterday, thanks God, all of them were not harmed. The village of Sartane in Donetsk Oblast, as well as the city of Sumy, were subject of intensive shelling, which destroyed dozens of private houses. The Russian side attempts to hide its crimes against peaceful residents. With the Office of Attorney General of Ukraine, we are collecting all of this, we are recording all of this, we are preserving all of this, and we will immediately be transferring all of this to The Hague. Responsibility for these actions is inevitable, regardless of how much time it will take us to defend our country. Of course, we have losses on the Ukrainian side, and as of February 26, we have lost many of our brave sons and daughters. We lost 198 people who were killed, including 3 children. 1,115 were injured, including 33 children. The civilian losses amount to 38 people, out of which 2 were children. And then I'm only telling you the losses of people who are killed or seriously wounded. But as you can imagine, or as you can see from all the footage and videos that we have from Ukraine, you know, millions of Ukrainians, and their lives are affected by this war. People spend days and nights in the shelters, babies are born underground, children do not go to school. Many are trying to relocate children to either the Western Ukraine or to neighboring countries temporarily, and men are returning home to fight. This is a major humanitarian catastrophe in the center of Europe. Now, I'm also glad to report you that enemy does not do it unpunished. So in the last 2 days, we have destroyed 102 tanks, 14 fighter jets, 11 helicopters, 15 artillery pieces, 1 Book 1 system, and 536 armored vehicles of the enemy. And as the result of Mr. Putin's ruthless decision to send his soldiers to this senseless, unjust, unprovoked, and totally criminal war, 3,500 Russian men will not be returning home. And yesterday, our Vice Prime Minister for the occupied territories and reintegration of Donbass, Irina Vereshchuk, appealed to the Red Cross for the help so that the Red Cross can actually help Ukraine to return these corpses back to Russia. We are very thankful for the support that all the anti-war coalition is providing Ukraine. 73 countries, as I said yesterday, and 9 international organizations are in that coalition. And we are receiving additional weapons, we are receiving additional ammunition, we are receiving financial and humanitarian support, and most importantly, we are moving together on a strong path of sanctions. And I would like to use this opportunity to once again call on everyone to be firm in all the sanctions and introduce and implement all the sanctions that Putin and Russian Federation deserve for what they are doing to Ukraine and what they are doing to peace. So the sanctions should include severe financial sanctions. We believe all financial Russian institutions should be sanctioned. They should be disconnected from the majority of the civilized world. They should be out of the majority of the international organizations, because as we saw yesterday during the Security Council of the UN, they again vetoed a decision that called to stop the aggression and called for peace. So I would like to finish by saying that the spirit of Ukrainian armed forces, National Guard, border guards, all of our brave men and women, territorial defense, ordinary Ukrainians remain very high. As we said during the past year, as we said when we realized and we saw already all of you with all of the world that Putin has made a decision which he has been debating for quite some time, and as we see during the past 3 days, we are very resolute in defending our country. People are returning to Ukraine, even though it's very difficult because there are no flights that go into Ukraine, but people from all over the globe go back home to defend our country. And we will continue to do so, and we really hope that all civilized world will not only be with us like they are now, but that we together will be able to stop Mr. Putin and return peace to our country, return peace to Europe, and allow Ukraine to continue as a whole sovereign country peacefully develop as our people would like to. Thank you, and I have time for some questions.
Yes. Are you calling on the U.S. and its allies to ban Russia from SWIFT, and do you think this will have an impact on Putin's actions?
We ask from the United States and from all of our friends and allies to actually ban Russia from everywhere. And of course, disconnecting them from SWIFT is one of the, we believe, very effective actions. And we are also discussing all other potential sanctions which we are positive Russia deserves. Because being a terrorist state, attacking a sovereign country without any reasons, without any pretext, and more importantly, attacking civilians. I mean, I think everyone saw yesterday the footage of the rocket getting into a residential complex in Kiev. This is one of many. We can show you pictures, which you see here, we can send you videos, which we all store and record, of numerous destruction to private houses, to hospitals, to schools, all over the place. So not only this is unjust war and baseless war, not only while waging this war on us on a daily basis, on a minute basis, they are doing all these crimes against humanity. There should be severe punishment for that. And full isolation of Russia, we believe, is the right punishment for that.
Can I ask? Sorry.
President Biden announced $350 million in sanctions. I'm curious what more can America do in this case, in your opinion? And also for American citizens who are interested in this cause, what would Ukraine be calling on them to do?
Thank you very much. Yes, we're very glad that right after the call that President Biden had with President Zelensky yesterday, we saw two very positive announcements. First, there's the support, the $350 million presidential drawdown, which is already in a discussion, and hopefully we will be getting this support very quickly in Ukraine. This all is very much appreciated. This is what our armed forces need at the moment, and this is what we actually call upon all other friends and allies to support us with. So again, as we said from the beginning, you know, we will defend our home, we will not surrender, and we need all the support that we can get from the free world, because we are fighting for the right cause. We are defending our homes, we are defending our families, we are defending democracy, we are defending our choice to be sovereign, but we are also defending Europe. We are at the far front of this fight with the autocratic, crazy regime that we have to the east of us. And I also would like to say that, you know, please pay attention that the rockets that are sent to destroy our troops, and that the military personnel and tanks and all the machinery that is coming, they are not only coming from the east. They are coming from Crimea, which is illegally occupied and by Russia, but they are also coming from Belarus. And Belarus is also responsible for this attack on Ukraine. Yes, please.
You're talking about the support that you've had from the global community. Can you tell us about the detail, the smaller scale stuff? Are you in daily contact with the White House at the embassy? Are you getting sort of on the ground help here in America from other embassies from other countries?
This anti-war coalition that I mentioned is a true coalition of friends. So not only that we have, I wouldn't even call it on the daily discussions with the administration, but more like hourly discussions. So we are in close contact with everyone here in the United States. I have great support from all of the ambassadors of our friends and allies from other European countries, and not only European. The coalition is beyond already just NATO or European Union or the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, and other people who believe in democratic values. So we are in constant discussions, and we are working together in order to stop Mr. Putin. Now, we understand that there are processes and democratic rules and everything else, but time is of the essence here. It's a full-fledged war in Ukraine. Ukrainians are fighting with everything for our homes, and the support that we need is yesterday. So essentially, again, we are very grateful, and when we work with our friends and allies, we are grateful for everything we received. We are grateful for a great communication, and we need more. Because we see that the sanctions that we have, they are great. The support that we have is also great. But we need everything now, because this is the moment when we have to mobilize all the resources and all the support in order to not only stop Putin, but also save every life that we can save. This is what is at stake here.
there anything the General would like to add?
General, would you like to add
If you
something?
mention humanitarian, I can add. If
See, I will be talking about war, and General will be talking about humanitarian.
talking about humanitarian, I'd like to say that we captured around 200 Russian soldiers, some of them 19 years old, not trained at all, badly equipped. We treat them according to Geneva Convention, according to international humanitarian law. And you can find on YouTube or videos we can send you where we allow them to call their parents, parents completely surprised. We allow them to, we give them food, water, whatever, and treat them according to Geneva Convention.
Could you get your name and correct title, please?
I'm Major General Boris Kremnetsky, Defense Attaché at the Embassy.
If you wouldn't mind to spell that, please, sir.
Boris Kremenetsky.
Could you please specify what kind of weapons and military assistance Ukraine does need right now? And do you talk with the Biden administration about the aircraft defense, anti-aircraft defense?
Well, I'm working with the Pentagon on our daily basis, and there is a list of crucial requirements, and we still need more capabilities. And I can assure you that what we received already were used in a proper way, just into targets.
You know, it's been said, of course, that the Russians are trying to conduct a decapitation of the government. What do you need in practical terms in the coming days to prevent that? And speaking of the concern you mentioned at the top, do you have gas masks? Or are you requesting gas masks? Do you think that's a live concern?
Well, maybe I can answer that. So we intend to defend our country, and every precautions are taken in order not to allow them to get to our government. At the same time, President has made a decision to stay in Kyiv, to stay with people and defend the country while being in Kyiv and being in the country. So that is why we cannot allow Kyiv to be taken, and that is why everyone in Kyiv, all the armed forces, police, territorial defense, will be defending Kyiv until we defend Kyiv. And during the last night here, but day in Kyiv, there were numerous reports of ordinary citizens essentially finding, capturing all the Russian perpetrators who came into Kyiv pretending to be Ukrainian citizens, but unfortunately they do not know Kyiv, they do not know our language, they have no idea what Ukraine is and who we are. So it's pretty easy to spot them, and we are finding them, capturing them, detaining them, and doing everything possible to defend Kyiv. Now, even during a couple of hours before we speak, there was street shooting in Kyiv, so some of these groups were able to get into some places in Kyiv, and so far we're in full control of the situation.
Do you believe that you need gas masks?
Well, we, first of all, during the past 8 years, we have worked really good with all of our friends and allies in reforming the army and getting what we need for different type of situations. Second, we right now, as General said, work very actively with our colleagues in Pentagon, and you know, on the exact list of what do we need in order to develop our capabilities, including different range of items. I will not be disclosing what exactly are we working, but the list is very wide, and we're also coordinating with other friends and allies. So we are not only getting, only during the last couple of hours, a number of countries announced that they will support us in addition to the support we are getting from the United States by additional weapons. Estonia, you name it. Germany, we just had a news that after many discussions before, Germany also decided to provide Ukraine with the defensive weapons. So it's Europe and transatlantic community, I should say, is very much united on this. We just need it faster so that we can save more lives.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please pray for Ukraine. And we are fighting for our home. So that is always a fight that ends with victory. Thank you.
Can I just one more question? On a personal level,
Yes.
you're here. I'm guessing you all have an awful lot of family back home. Tell us how that is and how you're dealing with that as well as trying to do the job.
We are very proud that our families are there fighting for this cause. Of course, we are very concerned about them. But if anything, it motivates us to work and hard even more here to support them and to support from here. So right now, all Ukraine, including our diplomatic forces, are united, and we have only one goal: to defend our country, get to peace, and stop Mr. Putin. And we will do it. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.